Hello everybody, and thank you for tuning into my video. So today I'm going to be presenting the board games I got from Gen Con 2019. For those of you who aren't familiar with Gen Con, it's the largest tabletop board game convention in tabletop gaming convention in North America, not just board games. It's held in Indianapolis, and it's held, early August every year, and it has been for a long time. For the past couple of years, me and my friends have gone regularly, crowds of 60,000 plus, so it is very large. And you will have everything from board games, so, your Risk, your Monopoly, board games that haven't even, come out yet. They're being debuted at Gen Con because it's so big. You'll have trading card games, so like Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, tons of playing going on, miniatures like Warcraft 40K and other ones, role-playing games like D&D and, Shadowrun, World of Darkness games, always Vampire Masquerade games going on. They're very popular. So it's a lot of fun, and it's very big. And one of the cool things about it is there's also this huge vendor hall where you'll just get to go up and down and play test all these new games that have come out, or even old ones that you may not ever have gotten an opportunity to play before. So what I'm going to show you in this video is the board games I ended up getting from Gen Con. And I will provide links to Gen Con as well as to these board games if you're interested in checking them out more, possibly ordering them if you want to go to Gen Con, or purchase these games after I've talked about them, or at least want to give them a try. So with that being said, I will get right into it. So this first one that looks like two different boxes is two different boxes, but it's actually one game and a variant of the game, or an expansion of it. And the game is called The Red Dragon Inn. So the theme of this game is that you play a character in an adventuring party. So think D&D, you're the adventurers, you've gone out, you've gotten all your gold, your loot, you saved the princess from the tower, you're now back at the tavern, kicking back with your rewards. And the goal of the game is to gamble, earn the most gold, as well as while you're drinking, because you're having fun, not to pass out. Because if you pass out, you're out of the game. So it's a very fun game that you're not supposed to take very seriously. And the reason why there's so many variants of it, and there are a lot of variants of this game, if you go to their site, there's like ones with villains, mythical creatures, pirates, and each box will come with 4 characters that you can play. Each character will kind of have their own unique deck with same mechanics, but they might have a different flavor. So like, for instance, the wizard might have, some magic cards in his deck that he's playing with to gamble or cheat or something like that at cards or something like that. Rogues are obviously going to be cheating a lot. And each deck, like I said, each variant will come with 4 cards. And the thing that I like about this deck, or this game, is that you can play with as many characters as you have decks to play them with. So you could play, 2 players to, in the case, because I have 4 or 2 boxes, 8 players or more if you have more. So it's a good kind of social party game. And I'm going to kind of show you some of the contents a little bit. So the rules are written in kind of an old-timey font, which is cool. And then you have the board here, which every player will get one of these boards. And you have your deck, which here we have Fiona the Volatile, which is one of the characters. I think it's this, if you look here, this kind of pigtailed one. She looks like she might be a fighter. So she has cards that would probably be centered around, being angry or something like that. And the version I played when I was demoing it at Gen Con was Pirates. So I was the commander. So I had things like the commander drinks last or something like that. So I could have other people take drinks for me. And that's something else about this board, is that there's a drink deck. And the drink deck will have players take drinks. And how that works in the game mechanics is you have this part of the board which has your alcohol content and your fortitude. And fortitude starts at 20, alcohol starts at 0. And as it your alcohol content goes up from taking drinks, your fortitude might also go down from other cards. So like player cards, some of the cards in the drink deck might make it go down. And if they ever meet, then you're out of the game and basically passed out because you couldn't hold your liquor. So that's kind of like how you make people drink and how you get your characters to pass out. There's also cards you can play that let you gamble. Like I said, each character will have a certain different flavor. So the wizard might use magic. There's a thief in the base version, so they'll probably be very sneaky. And the reason I got this game was because, well, sometimes I like to just get games where you can have, for one, we sometimes struggle in my play group getting games that can accommodate larger groups of people, like over 6 people. So this fulfills that thing. It's also light, so you can take it to like a social party and you can play around with a group of friends. So it can be like a substitute for Cards Against Humanity. If you're tired of, like everybody playing Cards Against Humanity, you could break this game out. And yes, it's very easy to turn this game into an actual drinking game because you have the drink cards that tell your character to drink. So it's very easy to turn it into a world drinking game. And in fact, when I was searching, and I forgot to mention that this is by Slugfest Games, is the people who made this. And this game has been out for a while, and I never saw it until Gen Con. So it's got a lot of variants. You can get a number of decks, so you could play a lot of people with this game if you get all the different variants of it. But when I was searching for it for more information on Google, as soon as I put in the Red Dragon in, autocorrect was very quick to put in drinking game. So obviously I wasn't the only one thinking about how easy it is to turn into a drinking game, and you can find a lot of variants of it, of that type of effect on the online. So this is just a fun game. It's not competitive. You can play it after a very complex game to kind of have all the emotions that you might have had from like a Monopoly or a Risk or any number of intense games, and just kind of like relax and enjoy like a not too serious game where you're basically fantasy characters just drinking. And like I said, each one will have different versions of it. So here there's a troll in this third version, a pixie, an orc, and I think a halfling or a gnome tinkerer. So you get a lot of variation. Like I said, there's also pirates, villains. I think there was a zombie one, if I remember seeing it correctly. But that's the Red Dragon Inn. It's not very complex. It's just fun. Easy to do. Can play it in a number of settings. So it's definitely one I would suggest everybody check out, especially if you're just looking for a fun, lighthearted game. So this next one is not a quick game. This is a more meaty game, but there was one main reason that it caught my eye when I was walking by all the aisles at Gen Con. Well, two main reasons. First is this art, which, if you can tell, is very superhero-y, which I'm a very big superhero fan, big superhero nerd, and so that caught my eye. But this part up here, this text up here above the title, and the game is called The Reckoners, and it's by Nalvio Games. I probably butchered that very badly, but it says it's based on the novels by Brandon Sanderson. For those of you who don't know who Brandon Sanderson is, he's an American author, and he deals primarily with building sci-fi, fantasy, mostly fantasy actually, worlds with a lot of themes around power, mechanics, so like weird powers. And he builds a lot of them. His most well-known series are probably the Mistborn series and the Stormlight Archive. If you haven't read them, they're great books to pick up. I highly recommend them. They're very fun. But this is based off of a series of books I haven't read of his. They're teen novels, but this game is based off of the first teen novel, and apparently there's going to be expansions based around other books later. So there'll be lots of content for this game. And the premise is that in this world, superheroes exist, and spontaneously people start to get powers. But unlike in like a Marvel or DC where these heroes are benevolent and they're trying to help you, in this world, if you get superpowers, you become evil, and you try to destroy humanity. So they based this board game off of that concept. So this person in the center is apparently called Steelheart. I think it's called Steelheart, and he's like the Superman of this world. So he's like the main villain of this game. And then all these people back here are normal humans called the Reckoners, which is a team in the novels, apparently, whose job it is to research superheroes, find their weaknesses, and defeat them. And that's what you do in this game, is each of you, the players, will play as a member of this team, and it plays up to 6, if I remember correctly. Yes, so it plays 1 through 6. It's about a 75-minute game, so probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours. I was told setup was real easy with it, so you don't have to... It's not a hard game to set up according to them, the people at the booth. But you play as one of these members. Each member will have a unique ability, but your whole goal is to research superheroes in this game and then stop them, and eventually stop the Superman of this world, Steelheart. So this is a cooperative game. If you're not familiar with the concept of a cooperative game, it's one where you're not playing player versus player, you're playing player versus game. So it becomes you as a group trying to stop whatever horrific events the game is trying to throw at you. And normally there's like a losing con in this game, type of game, where if it's reached, you just automatically lose. In this game, it's a population. So you have a population counter. And as you go around and you do your turns, it decreases as the superheroes or the superpowered people kill more and more people. So, and it gets pretty intense. Like, you can be losing a lot of population very quickly in this game when I play tested it. So it really makes you want to work together as a group to stop it. So there was a couple of reasons I think this is going to be a better co-op game than other ones I've played. The number one being that everybody actually takes their turn at once. So normally in cooperative games, what happens is one player will take their turn, then another player, and they go all the way around, and then there's like a villain or board game turn where the board game has some mechanics that will play out that does bad things to you. In this one, all the players kind of take their turns at once, and the reason why I like that is sometimes when each player takes their turn individually, some players seem to have more to do than others in a particular scenario. So you can have some players that seem out of it, some players that are more into it, some people that are just waiting longer because some people's turns might be a little longer. Because everybody's doing their turns at the same time, it's very easy to kind of like have everybody doing something so nobody feels idle, which I really like. The other thing I like about it is that the theme of it obviously is really nice, but in terms of a cooperative game, it's dice based, so there's kind of a little element of luck in there, which I think helps games sometimes. because it makes it a little bit harder to take them seriously when it comes down to dice rolls. So you have to kind of relax a little bit around it. This one is a little bit more probably a lot more complex than the Red Dragon Inn was. So would be like, if my group was playing, this would probably be like a main game, or like the game we meet up to play, and then a Red Dragon Inn would probably be a game that we play afterwards, along with the others, couple of games to kind of relax a little bit. But yeah, so this game was a lot of fun, a lot of resource management. Each player had unique abilities that they could use, and they all seemed relevant to the game, so nobody seemed idle. And this is one I'm looking forward to playing with my friends a lot. In reality, it's also good team building, because everybody has to work on communicating, everybody has to work on knowing what they're doing, knowing what their role is. So I might even take this into work as a kind of group building exercise sometime. But yeah, I'm glad that I kind of like this caught my eye, because sometimes when you're walking down those aisles, it can be very easy to get board game overload, so you just kind of like ignore some. But I'm glad this one caught my eye. I'm very excited to play it with my friends. So yeah, very excited for that. I would take it out and show you some of the pieces to it, but it's got a lot of pieces into it. I got the deluxe edition, so the miniatures, and it comes with a bunch of miniatures for each character in the game. The ones I have are painted. I think the base version just comes with like plastic, kind of gray models of all the characters, but there's a lot of craftsmanship that went into making this game. So I'm really excited for it, and yeah, I think me and my play group are going to have a lot of fun with this, and my friends will probably enjoy it as much as I did. All right. Well, so that's all the games I bought from Gen Con. It's very easy at Gen Con to, if you're not careful, lose a lot of money because you just see all these cool games and you just want to get them. But these were the ones that I thought within my play group would be the ones I want to introduce for fun. I think the Red Dragon Inn is going to be one that we play a lot, just because it's so simple and it's so easy, and you can play it at other social events that are designed outside of board games, right? So I could probably bring this to a party at somebody's place, and we could just play it as a drinking game, or it's just something to pass the time. Whereas the Reckoners is probably one you're getting a group of people to actually just play board games for the day. But we have a lot of that, so I'm not concerned about getting it to the table anytime soon. But yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, share, or subscribe if you want to. And you have a great day.